Hello, greetings, y'all. So, for the last, I could say for the last 3.5 years, there's been a huge increase in the amount of energy that I invest into thinking, struggling to understand, and struggling to find a means to acquire the knowledge and to become wise enough to take my experiences that I have had in life and apply them into intentional energy invested into producing outcomes that will provide real solutions to real issues. I'm very aware of the fact that the world is not for saving. I'm very aware of the fact that there's always going to be evil in the world. I'm very aware of the fact that we are at war. And when I say at war, I'm talking about a spiritual war. I'm very aware of the fact that I am just one life, just one little itty bitty white life. I'm very aware of the fact of my actions that have caused huge damage in life. My years of self-sabotaging, my years of thinking that I was entitled and that I was better than others, or that I was special. I'm very aware of that. I'm very aware of the fact that we can't rewind the time clock, and we can never, once time is spent, we can never, there's no refunds. There's no return on time, okay? Some people never get caught up with issues in life, or they have very minor ones. There's just some people that have the best luck and seem to be just very blessed in life. And then there's people that seem to very struggle, and they don't seem like they're going to ever stop suffering. They seem like they're just going to always be the way they are. I look around the world and I see, homelessness, is increasing. Violence is increasing. I mean, violence has always been there, but it seems like it's getting worse and worse. I mean, just everything politically and just socially and economically seems to be very uneven. It seems like the scale to liberty, but, is not balanced at all, which would make sense because I don't believe that the Statue of Liberty's scales ever were balanced, or are they? I don't know. Anyways, without getting off track here, I've decided, why am I going to keep all these thoughts to myself? Maybe I should just start recording videos and putting my crazy nonsense thoughts that just, don't let me be, into a video and just post them out there and see what kind of feedback I get. So without going into details of this lifetime story that I've experienced, I'm going to just get straight to what I'm doing right now. So right now I'm on the California Department of Education, their website, and I came across this program. I'm going to get the name wrong. Let me see. The program is called, it is called, where did it go? Jeez. Now I'm not going to be able to find it, or what? Let me see here. Sorry, guys. It is a program. It's some literacy program. I just want to get the name right. Let me look it up here. Okay. It's PLIO is the program, but what that stands for is, here we go. Well, that's interesting. When I put PLIO, it says financial literacy, which is interesting, but it is called, the one I'm looking for. Okay, so yeah, I guess it is financial literacy. It's called Professional Learning Innovations Office. Okay, so that's not the name of the program. The program is, I thought it was called something else. Let me find this. Sorry, you guys. Excuse me. I want to be accurate when I'm telling you guys these things. So it's a program that is, there's literacy coaches. Let me see here. All right, so here we go. It is called Literacy Coaches and Reading Specialist Grant. Okay, and so I'm not really sure much about this, but it says pursuant to Section 115 of Senate Bill 114, Chapter 48, Statutes of 2023, an eligible school educational agency has a deadline of September 30th, 2023 to opt out of the program for one or more eligible school sites. So I'm not really sure what this is about, but I do know that where I live in California, which is in Gilroy, and then in the Santa Clara County, that our literacy level is very low. It's very low, which is horrible, right? So I'm not really sure what this program is about, but what I'm doing is I've seen this and I go, this is interesting. I want to know more about it. And so I'm making an email because I wasn't able to find a lot of information on there, but I just jumped right to it. A lot of times I jump the gun, and I know that this is not, this is my own ignorance and impatience that does this, but rather than read all the things that have been put on this webpage, okay, I will just jump right to making contact and asking questions. I know that on the other side, they're probably like, why don't you read what we put out there first before asking questions, which is actually the respectable thing that I should do. And so before I send this email out, I'm definitely going to think about that and go back to their webpage and try to, read all the information that they have already put out there so that I'm not wasting anyone's time. I mean, that would be very considerate, don't you think? Right. Okay, so again, I'm still working on not being entitled and thinking it's all about me. Okay, so what I'm in my email so far, I have, what is the underlying purpose of the PLIO program? I got to call it something else. I have to call it the grant, right? Maybe I should just look it up online. I'm answering my own questions right now as I'm speaking to you. Let me just read the questions, okay? How was the PLIO program created and designed? I already know, I'm going to keep saying PLIO, but I know that I'm using the wrong terminology because that's not what I'm asking them. I'm actually asking about the grant, but anyways, you get it. I'm just going to say grant for now on, okay? Okay. How is the grant program funded? Are there independent, private, or silent investors that hold stake in the grant? Is every public school aware of the grant program? Who is eligible to become a coach? How is the program designed to empower students? What is the program designed to empower students to achieve as an outcome? How is accountability tracked for the grant? What source of authority determines the standard desired rate of literacy targeted as a whole in California? Is there a source that has authority to enforce regulations upon California in regards to the grant? Is the grant voluntary or mandatory? What is California Department of Education's current understood and used definition of the word mandatory? What is the current literacy level for California's public school administrators? Does California hold educators, administrators, school districts, and school boards accountable to provide evidence that all administrative agencies that are granted authority to influence and enforce legal determinations against students to be of competent authority? What is California Department of Education's understanding, definition, and use of competent authority? Does California Department of Education place priority precedent on targeting risk mining? Does risk management and consulting attract the majority of funding that is appropriated to educational programs and contracts existing in today's public educational system? What types of current work is in action to provide solutions to systemic issues that target individual students due to data and risk mining programs that are funded and bonded and sold until maturity in situations that have escalated to cause severe and even deadly risk or threat to just one student's life? Does California Department of Education have an interest, desire, or a need to gain support from parents and students that have endured long-term suffering from being sacrificed at risk with their life held, hedged, and damaged while at stake on a vigorous cycle that repetitively compromises the well-being of that one student and continues to restrict, limit, exclude, harm, hinder, and abuse that one student's life opportunities by those known and unknown underlying interests claimed and the undersigned contracts that govern businessmen, women, investors, and those holding the stakes that are believed to have no intention or desire to restore or release the student from the historical damage that has been manufactured and even manifested by a small few that have collectively partnered with a small few more in a subtle, hidden, in plain sight war waged against that one student. I know, that's really deep, right? Well, those are my questions. So feel free to give me some feedback if there's anyone out there in the educational system or an instructor, maybe one of the leaders, regulators, whatever, anyone out there, just feel free to comment below. I would love to hear some feedback here. Here's another thing. Before I cut off this video, I just want to make it known that although you can sense there's a lot of outstanding issues that are not settled there, I will say that I have came to the belief that, well, first of all, I know there's no money, okay? And so that's a whole nother subject that we won't get into right now. But I'm learning the rules of the game, and it's been a very long journey, to say the least. But I am nowhere near quitting because I don't believe in quitting. I will succeed whatever I do in life. Whatever my purpose is that I'm supposed to be serving, I know that it's not for me, but for all of you, whoever you are, right? It has to be selfless. I know that suing someone isn't really ever going to be a solution. I feel and I believe my position is I do not want to win if others have to lose. I want to create a win-win. I can't create a win-win by myself. I also know that anything that I have suffered from or experienced, I am not special and I am not the only one suffering. So if you have an issue that you've suffered from, you need to know that you're not alone, even though it may feel like you're alone. And if we ignore or neglect to create or come together to, create a solution, okay, that will prevent these problems from happening in the future, a better solution than the ones that we have, one that doesn't target and manufacture, market, and places on the stock shelf as collateral. What was I saying? Yes, I got really caught up there. Anyways, there's that emotions. Those are those emotions that come up. Trauma is real, and situations that really cause damage, they never go away until there is some type of solution that is created. And sometimes they do. Sometimes we can get through things, we can suffer things or trauma, and we are very resilient. Humans are very resilient, and we can just move on in life, and it's no big deal. But sometimes injury and harm, damage, injury and harm, it stacks up and it gets so huge that when the outcome is so severe that it takes a life or threatens life or a life is nearly ended, there's no going back from that. Sometimes life calls attention to us and does not let us be because we are called to do something, and we must choose to do whatever it is that we need to do until a solution comes to life that helps. And that is really what this is all about. So yeah, that's it. Thank you. Have a great Sunday. God bless. Light and love from Northern California.